Hello, everybody. This is Peter Palmiotti of Human Art Studios, and this is episode 124 of Making Comics and Art. And before we get to our guest, um, we had the Global Frequency, Neff and Frequency Girl on this morning, or 1 p.m. And they showed off an amazing piece with my character Retro. So you can go to that video, grab that link, and get that print. I think you have a 24-hour window, so get on it if you haven't already. And Friday, I have Rich Parada on talking about his project. Elliot Rodriguez will be on Saturday. Sunday will be my draw stream, second episode. Maybe I'll figure out more of what I want to do there. I might do smaller illustration myself. Then Monday and Tuesday I'll be streaming solo, and I got a few guests lined up for next week. I know Richard Friend wants to come on at some point. He's figuring out his schedule. And Jim Lujan, I believe, will be the following Sunday, and some other people. So yeah, it's gonna be a crazy month. Trying to stream every day, and I double booked today, but that's okay. Right now with us, we have Denis Gagne. Is that close? No, that's not close.
That's pretty close. Gagne, yeah.
Gagne. All right, cool. Well, you do a fabulous cartoon strip that I've seen on Instagram. And we have Dory with us. Hey, Dory. Do you have a website, or can people find you everywhere on the internet?
Yeah, I'm pretty much exclusively on Instagram, and I also have like a Twitter account at Real FUNGHI that I just post a bunch of stupid jokes and also include my weekly comic strips as well. So you can find me on those two sites there. I'm trying on Facebook, but for some reason every Wednesday when I post my comic strip, it just completely slips my mind. So of that, and I'm trying comic strips on TikTok. It's kind of weird because it's a video medium, but
Right.
I've had a couple of like surprising. I call them successes, at least where my like count was in triple digits, so that was encouraging at least, and yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't ventured into TikTok line yet. I got enough work.
Yeah. I know it's like a lot of hats to wear. It's yeah.
But yeah, you don't have to be everywhere. You just have to grow where you are, kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's Instagram itself is, I find, tricky because I remember when I first started about 2-3 years ago. It was like before they kind of switched their algorithm or what have you.
Right.
So I found myself getting a lot more engagements on my posts, and then like 6 months in, they switched their algorithm to whatever, I don't even know, and like now like my numbers dropped down quite a bit, but I'm still like steadily now starting to build more of a following. The likes are going up and interactions and all that too, so it's tricky, I find.
Yeah, that was probably when Facebook bought them.
Yeah, I think it was around that time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I came in too late.
Well, it's like people say, oh, you should get on when they first start up, even before you know if it's going to be a thing or anything.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell, but it's always challenging. But you can.
It is.
There are ways, you get your friends to click like on everything. And
oh yeah, no, there's definitely that, and it's you just have to plug away at it too. Like I've seen, like, in the 3 years I've been doing this, like a lot of accounts just kind of come and go, and some people even really good talent and all that too, and they just kind of get just sort of give up on the idea because you don't get that instant gratification necessarily. But I mean, I've noticed in the last like year and a half, there's been like kind of a growth in terms of interactions with my comic strips and my postings and all that too. So I mean, you do just have to kind of keep at it, and something will come of it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, there's a weird like alien comic strip on Instagram. I forget the name of it, but they got picked up to be an animated show or something. So it's like success does bring you places.
Oh yeah, like it's weird, and I mean, even sometimes like I kind of notice that um, like think about a year ago, I had like posted I don't even remember which comic strip it was, but like it ended up getting like a like and a comment from one of the producers from and like lead animators from like SpongeBob SquarePants,
Yeah.
like just random, like just how does this get in front of this person's face? Like it's a mystery to me. I mean, there's people who know like how to like I guess kind of work with the algorithm, but that's beyond me. I mean, I know how to put pencil to paper. That's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would. It's really weird. I used to listen to audiobooks a lot more, like actual books.
Hmm.
And one of the books I listened to was this writer Steve. I'm forgetting his last name at the moment, but he would show up on Instagram liking my stuff. I'd be like, "Why is he liking my stuff?" But thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. I know it's this weird synergy. It's weird. That I mean, I can imagine even for you because I mean, like I know you've worked in comics for like quite a while. I mean,
Yeah.
I've only been putting a serious effort into this for the last 3 years, so like I'm just coming into the more, I guess, this kind of technological aspect of it, where you know just post stuff online. Or I can imagine things like even 10 years ago was probably a lot more difficult to get yourself out there.
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. So, what got you into doing this strip you're doing now?
Um, well, I mean, it's I guess like when I was younger too, I always used to draw like comic strips and stuff like that, but it was kind of start and stop all the time. Like I always felt like I sort of hit a plateau, and I kind of just sort of gave up on it. But about 3 years ago, I ended up by chance just buying these really cheap like online drawing courses to kind of get myself back into drawing, because before that I used to paint a lot more.
Oh,
And one of them was like the one of the instructors in the video just said like, one of the assignments was we have to draw a bird, and then he said like, just draw this bird over and over again until you get really good at it. So I drew this bird like about a dozen times, and I was started getting bored with it. And then I just started making like little jokes about the bird. Like he was a samurai bird, he was a cowboy bird, he had like a little gun and all that. And so, and then from there, I started the Instagram page and started like with my little bird joke strip and all that. And then randomly, I was like at the office sitting in a conference call, like just kind of bored listening in. And I was like doodling, drawing these like circles over and over again. And then I kind of saw in this like massive circles, it looked like a giant muscular robot holding a basketball.
right.
I drew that out, and then that became like my first character, Musclebot. I'll see if I can find him here. But yeah, and then from there, I started doing these strips called like, Musclebot comics, and it just kind of grew out from there. And then I kind of realized like, oh, I found the jokes, trying to do jokes in just with those characters kind of limiting. So I started a second comic strip that was just black and white, like hand drawn comic strips. But even then, I thought that was limiting. So that's when I started Real Fungi Comics, which is like I just kind of let my brain go anywhere, and this is about where I am right now.
All right.
Yeah,
It's just pure imagination and
it is
art.
pretty much
Yeah.
like, and I mean, I kind of try to let go of that idea of sort of hitting the plateau, and like just sort of push through, working on my drawings and all that too. And then because I mean, a lot of stuff I do is kind of like parody and all that as well. So even if it doesn't look exactly right, I can just say like, oh, it's just a joke. Like it doesn't need to look good. It's just humorous. So I'm not trying to get myself like published by Marvel or anything like that. So it doesn't really matter if I try to draw something like Steve Ditko, and it just looks like something out of Mad Magazine or something.
Oh, Man Magazine was very hot at one time, so.
Oh, it was. Oh, yeah. Because I mean, especially like where I grew up, I was like in Northern Ontario, so like we didn't, at least at the time when I was younger, we didn't have comic book shops or anything like that. So I
Right.
consisted basically off of whatever was in the magazine rack at the grocery store. So it was like the random issue of like X-Men comic books or Mad Magazine or Cracked. That was like the most I was able to get.
I mean, those are really entertaining. I grew up on both Mad
Hmm.
Magazine and Cracked, and um, you know, definitely inspired by not only the creativity within, but the artists in Mad Magazine specifically were like really phenomenal.
Hmm.
You know, um, and it's like even with what I do, where my focus is, um, they're really a artistic inspiration. You know,
No, it really is, and I mean, I find like I'm veering more towards them whenever I'm looking for references and stuff like that, rather than going to the source material like Jack Kirby and everything. But if I'm trying to do something that looks a little bit more like a comic book or something, like the strip I did this week, the Star Wars one, I tried to make it look because I remember years ago I found like an old newspaper that had like a Star Wars comic strip in it. And so I kind of wanted to imitate that, but obviously it's not going to look exactly like that. But I mean,
right?
close at least. Here, actually, I found my picture here of MuscleBot that I had.
All right. Let's see if we can get that.
See if this will work. There you go. Yeah,
Yep.
it's this guy here. So yeah, you can tell the line paper and all that. I think I was sitting on a conference call. I was taking notes, and I'm like, all right, they're talking about something I'm not really involved in. So I just started just drawing random circles, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, there's like something here, and this is kind of the start of that my first character, MuscleBot.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, you could share more of your
Sure.
Instagram if you want.
Yeah, I'll try to find some other guys here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even some stuff that I like to do is just play around with the medium as well, like not even just kind of stick to, pencil and paper and all that, but I'll do this one here. Like this one here, MuscleBot comic,
Right.
traveling through space and time. Try to do like kind of the sort of like Jack Kirby sort of space scape and all that too there. Again, mess around with perspective a lot and the color, and then just kind of switch to. I think I went to Walmart and spent like $20 on just like construction paper and all that too.
Cool.
Luckily, my girlfriend's a photographer, so she was able to help me like get the photo just right and everything, and
Nice.
yeah, just
So,
really kind of.
are you doing your strip in digital? I mean, I'm not really a digital guy, but I think pretty much I could tell
It,
it's.
it is primarily in digital. I have
Yeah.
like some that are. Uh, there's some that I've done like in pen and paper.
Right.
Because I mean, originally, like I always enjoyed just drawing as a kid. Like I mean, I think it was a cheap way for my parents to keep me busy. So I did. This one here is entirely just pen and ink, except for like the word bubbles there. My handwriting is pretty terrible, so I can't do that. But yeah,
Nice.
this is like an idea that I want to pursue a bit more too. Is having like Dracula and the Invisible Man as like roommates in their castle and all that too, and like a bit of like an odd couple kind of idea.
Right.
But yeah, like I mean, I think this was actually the first MuscleBot comic strip that I drew, where he drinks coffee and just kind of the ridiculous idea of a robot drinking any kind of liquid, but then also just enjoying his coffee.
Sweet.
No, it is all primarily like digital and everything, and just sort of like behind the scene process or anything like that. Or
Right.
this one here? Yeah, this one here was pretty much all like hand drawn. Try to base it off of like Laurence Olivier's Hamlet,
Nice.
and then pretty much just it, because especially like at the time I was trying to like just sort of improve on just drawing with like pen and ink, so it came kind of handy to just use like old black and white movies as references and all that too.
Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
Looked
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, just try to like play around with everything. Like, this one hand drawn Spider-Man,
Right.
like a very rough take on Todd McFarlane, I guess.
It's exactly like Tom McFarlane.
Yeah, it's like this one here, especially because like I was like McFarlane's like Spider-Man, because like the webbing is just everywhere. Like, what does he do with all of that?
Yeah.
I think that's like around the time where they had to like say like in canon that like, oh, his spider webs dissolve eventually, so like don't worry about it. But
Otherwise, it's all over the city.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Wizard magazine back in the
Yeah.
day, inspiration.
Yeah, pretty much. Because I remember I actually had this issue as well. That was another thing that I was only able to get was like Wizard magazine, and the other access I had to comic books was through the trading cards.
Right.
Yeah, because we had like a trading card shop in my hometown,
Oh wow.
and it was majority of it was all sports card, but he had like one section, the glass cabinet that had like all the Fleer like trading cards and all that too. It's kind of where I went to sort of waste my allowance, basically.
Yeah, it's like I not so much a baseball nut or a sports nut for that matter, but I was fully aware that that was a whole thing. And when it came to comics, it was like, oh boy, they really overdid it for a time.
Oh yeah,
burned people out on it.
Oh, it's nuts. Like I still have like some of the cards left over, and I mean the stuff that they had too. Like they really did try to sell you like the gold foil and the holograph cards, and like just kind of really make you think like this is going to be worth something, but not so much.
Yeah, it's like
Unless
it did good for them for a while.
Yeah, like unless like everybody's card collections will simultaneously catch fire, I doubt it's going to be worth much money.
Kirby Crackle.
Yeah. Yeah, this was around the time I was actually reading. I think it was like his collection of New Gods there.
Right.
He had his run to DC, so
yeah, he's done incredible work.
Oh yeah. No, it's all like pretty fantastic stuff. Yeah, this one too, like hand drawn but like colored digitally, and just,
right.
This is also very early on, like when I was trying to sort of develop like my real fungi character there. In this one here, I'm not blue, and then SpongeBob meme and all that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
The Shining.
Oh yeah, this was like a Christmas parody.
It's a Christmas Friday, of course.
Yeah. I mean, it takes place in winter, so it's snowy. And just, it's Parson Brown. What happens when you bring a snowman to life? So
nice.
Yeah. Even this one here is like a Invisible Man, like the old, I think it was from like the 30s or something like that. The old black and white movie, but like For some reason, yeah, just a jerk. And I actually had bought a book of facial expressions expressly just to use for this comic strip here, because like I was trying to like sort of nail kind of the angry sort of expression and all that too. So
Right.
trying to learn all that, and
Like the coffee cup.
yeah, that's something I'm going to try to focus on now. I think it's going to be kind of my goal for this year, is because I used to call myself anxiety, but now I've changed to real fun guy, so it matches more with like my Twitter account and kind of all that there. But yeah, I have to, because this one here was a one I made with a wolf man. I think that's down here. Oh, I'm missing it.
Hmm.
Okay, it's somewhere, but
Somewhere.
yeah, I'll share that eventually. Yeah, I'll post it soon.
So
Yeah, again,
why?
you can tell this is like, sorry.
Go ahead. Just yeah.
Oh no, yeah, like this is like when I was in my little Universal monster phase, just trying to practice, like with the pen and ink and all that too, and was able to get it printed on a coffee mug. But,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
nice. I was going to ask why did you choose to make the character blue in your strip?
Well, I kind of wanted to sort of emphasize kind of like a cartoony aspect to the comic strips, and blue is my favorite color, so I figured,
Yeah.
this character here is like 90% me, basically. So, the beard and the glasses, and my my favorite shirt is like a Neil Young t-shirt, and that's the same color, the red. So that's basically it. But yeah, and then even then, like for the other characters, like try to kind of show them in different colors and all that as well. And like if I include like any kind of friends or my girlfriend or anything like that, like I got one here. I'll share this one. Like her favorite color is purple, so made her character purple. Yeah.
Here we go. Nice.
Yeah. And I was actually reading some H.P. Lovecraft at the time, so that's why I came up with the cuddle monster.
All right. That's cool. Oh, it is Daredevil cover, right?
Yeah. Actually, I had this issue and ended up losing it. I don't know what happened. Like I had it when I was like a little kid, and now I can't find it anymore. So I'm not exactly sure what happened, but yeah, just do like a little parody of it with Edgar Allan Poe and all that. And because I had the word Edgar Action Poe, I think I accidentally said action instead of Allen, and then it just snowballed into this here.
Right, right. That's
Which
cool. It's more a popular thing that I see, like even people when they're crowdfunding their book, they make sure to do a couple of what they call like homage covers. Um,
yeah, and I mean,
yeah,
eventually down the road, I'm thinking like my dream as a kid was always to work in comic books. Whether not just doing comic strips and all that, but like even like one of the big companies or something like that. And I know that like, maybe a few years down the road, I'll get to the point where I'll be able to put something together, like an actual issue that, I can try to crowdfund and everything and just get going and all that as well. And hopefully use the momentum from I'm getting from, drawing my strip right now to help like fund that too. So,
yeah. No,
mhm.
I mean it's so much more possible, and it's like I kind of encourage everybody, like
Yeah.
like just go out there and make what you want to make,
Hmm.
because I could see you putting together like even just a book of your strips, and crowdfunder or not, you can get it out there.
Yeah. That's kind of like my, I'm sounding like for a guy that does like a funny comic strip, I'm like sound way too organized, but just trying to like in a year or two, trying to put together, do like a little best of, do like a digital book, and try to just sell that for like a few bucks, like able to do it on Amazon or what have you. So
Yeah.
mhm.
No, it's good to be organized. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, no, it's definitely been a benefit.
Good to have a plan.
Yeah.
That way you know what to grow towards. You know
Hmm.
where you lack and where your strong points are, and
No, it definitely is because I mean, even before it was really like an issue for me, like so many times when I was younger, just kind of start and stop stuff and all that too. Like I think one time I trying to get back into drawing superheroes, and this is like when I was doing more painting, and I tried to draw Magneto, and for some reason it just didn't pan out. So I was like, oh, screw this, I'm gonna like just stick to painting and all that. And but yeah, it wasn't until I was like kind of started drawing that little bird that like it kind of encouraged me to like just sort of stick with it and like just kind of let my mind wander and let this grow. And so kind of went from doing those muscle bot comic strips at the start, and 3 years later, I'm doing the real phone guy comics and all that.
yeah.
Hmm.
Uh, it's nice work, and the ones I read, and I read a bunch. I just randomly picked picked ones out and read them,
Oh,
and
thank you.
they're all funny. They're all good. And I know it's not an easy thing to be funny. Like
No,
you
it
ever
isn't.
show up at a party and you want to get people laughing and having a good time, and it doesn't always come out right.
Oh yeah, no, that's happened to me a bunch of times where try to be the joker at the party and people are looking at you like, who is this guy? Like,
Yeah.
he won't stop talking. And yeah.
So, do you have a schedule, or you just like post when you got a new one?
I try to go for every Wednesday. Um,
Yeah,
I used to do just pretty much whenever one was ready, but and then what would eventually happen is like I would just finish the comic strip, okay, put it up, and then I'm like, oh, I didn't really like this, I didn't really like that. So I find now that I have a schedule, I can kind of finish the comic strip a lot earlier, and then sort of just kind of sit on it and think like, oh, there might be things I want to change about it and all that too. So I've been a bit more satisfied with that. So yeah,
right.
every Wednesday is when new strip comes out.
Cool.
Hmm.
Cool. So, I imagine you grew up on newspaper strips. I could be wrong, but I mean, I
Oh yeah,
certainly did. What were
really did.
some of your favorites that you read?
I always liked like Far Side was always
Right.
one that I always like looked forward to and all that. And then Hagar the Horrible
Yeah.
or
Excellent.
Hagar the Horrible, yeah, that was a really good one too. And like just kind of a like kind of fun, sort of silly comic strip. I mean, kind of weird for like I guess a little kid to relate to like a Viking basically going through a midlife crisis, but you know.
What drew me to it? I mean, you mentioned that, and that I guess it's a funny thing that um, but it was the artwork, it was the cuteness, it was the
Mhm.
just relatable circumstances within their world. You know.
Yeah, and I mean, kind of like you mentioned, like the cuteness and all that too. Like it kind of like the subject matter itself wasn't always the case. Like there was kind of like these clever jokes and all that too. But like it looks like a Saturday morning cartoon, but they're
Yeah.
you know talking about like kind of making more kind of grown up jokes and all that too. I mean, there were gags and stuff like that, but you know I wouldn't think that Hagar the Horrible, if it was like started playing on Saturday mornings, like the humor wouldn't be the same at all.
Yeah, I imagine
Hmm.
so.
But
But
no, even
yeah.
like one thing that we had those like big volumes there. Was it the Far Side Gallery?
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, we had those around the house and always had the comic strips. Whenever I visit my grandparents, my grandmother would always like save up the Saturday or Sunday papers, the colored ones, like save those up for me and all that. And then it was like the rare instance I was able to get my hands on like an actual comic book, especially if we had it in the budget there, like at the grocery store, and I was able to like beg my parents enough to like buy it for me to spend like the $2-3. But yeah,
Yep.
no, that was like mostly it, and it's I really enjoy it too because I mean it is kind of a challenge. Like my sense of humor is in real life is probably more like kind of anecdotal, like telling stories and all that. But trying to sort of think of a way to make a joke happen in 4 panels like is a bit of a challenge. You know, even sometimes like if you try to make like a one-liner, stretch that for 4 panels too. And one thing that's actually kind of helped me is like I mentioned, I have a Twitter account as well at Real FUNGHI. Uh, that one there, like it's for the last year and a half, I got into this kind of the joke Twitter community they have there,
Oh yeah.
and it's helped me quite a bit because like you kind of write these jokes out. Some of them are hit and miss, but some of them you just end up getting like a really big idea for it, and a lot of them have inspired like comic strips. And try to find one here. I think this is it here. Yeah. Like speaking of like making this one's actually a 6-panel comic strip that I made out of a one-line joke that I made.
Here we go.
Yeah. This is definitely early on when I was trying to figure out more how to draw digitally and all that too. So like you can tell I'm using a lot of references.
All right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then yeah, this is basically the Twitter joke was just like one one line.
Yeah, I think I got a really good sense of humor, but I work best off of like under certain circumstances, which is like, you know, hang out with a bunch of friends and I could play off the conversation,
Yeah.
but just on my own, randomly pulling things out of the air, it's like it's hit or miss.
I know, and like it's funny because I mean I'm a lot of the same way, and like it took me quite a while to kind of get to this point of being able. Like I think it's almost like a muscle you have to kind of practice. Because like
Yeah.
I even just think of like the one of the first comic strips I made isn't like I mean it's an okay joke, but like I'll just show it here, but like I mean it's not the best there, but like I know what you mean though, because like I'm very much the same way. Like for me, like I have to be able to feed off of other people to kind of just be funny.
There we
So
go.
yeah, and yeah,
There
like
you go.
yeah, like it's it's hand drawn and all that, but too. But I mean, mostly yeah.
That's cute. Yeah.
But then from there, like I found like kind of reading my stuff, I've kind of expanded a bit more, and I have like I guess a bit more of a formula now too, instead of because even when people give me ideas, like I'll take it, but I can't find I can ever really do their idea verbatim. Like I always kind of have to add my own little twist to it and all that.
Yeah, you've created your own voice, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak, and if it fits within your format, it will work.
Yeah, because I mean there is really a way because I mean it's not only just like especially in comics in general, like it's such a mix between like the visual and well even visual in terms of reading and all that too. So like you know some jokes just don't land as a comic strip.
Right. Yeah, Dory, who's in our chat,
Mm-hmm.
she started a web comic recently,
Oh,
and
nice.
she's a comedian. She's also writes poetry and does a bunch of stuff. Um, but I'm sure like it's it's easy to put something out there. It's harder to really like do it over and over and over again and gain that audience and be really good at it and you know
Yeah, it really is, and I think like part of it is also like I think you kind of have to like adjust your expectations a little bit too, you know. Because I remember when I was first starting this, I thought like I was like really like hitting something, and wasn't really getting that feedback back. But now like I'm at the point where like you kind of have to let it sort of breathe and grow, and just keep working at it. And like now I find it's much more satisfying. I do get that sort of like, I guess, positive feedback that I was looking for before, but like you kind of have to. It's not instantaneous.
Yeah.
As much as we kind of hope it would be, but yeah.
So is there any comic strips that you're following anywhere?
Oh, there's a bunch. I mean, there's kind of like I guess Instagram is kind of ideal for it, just because I mean, it's photos and all that too. But like, it's kind of hard to sort of pick some favorites.
Right.
One that I like, and it's actually some friends of mine on Twitter that had started their own a few months ago, has the name Testicle Palace. And the one guy writes it, and the other guy is the artist for it there, and that's the name they go by on Instagram and on Twitter is at Testicle Palace. But they're really good too, and they kind of do that same thing, like 4-panel comic strip, like kind of gag strip and all that too.
Right.
And it's quite a bit that I really like that are like a little bit more out there. One person I started following, he goes by the name of, probably pronouncing it wrong, Hoomph, HOOMPH. And
sounds
really
right.
Yeah. And he really like plays around like with kind of like the medium and all that too. Like even some of his like comic strips are have like sometimes like an animated aspect to it or something, or
Cool.
they'll kind of like mix together like a photograph and then have it like drawn over, like the character interacting with kind of like sort of pushing the boundaries in terms of like the art and humor and the joke and all that as well. So,
Right.
but no, I mean it's hard to miss. Like there's a lot out there, and it's a lot of like really good stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like I know I go to Instagram and I'm looking for certain specific things, so I don't come across 1,000, strips.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing too. Is like when I was starting, I mean I was just getting a bunch of random people just following me or whatever, just finding out. But then as soon as you start to kind of cultivate what you're looking for, more and more of it just kind of comes to you.
Right. Doris says, I deleted it and started over using my kind of art to start over my way. No stock clip art. Yeah, she used some clip art, and somebody came after her. So she's
that's always a pain.
Yeah. There's always somebody on the internet. That's what it's good for. People.
Yeah, I mean,
with time on their hands.
Yeah, too much time.
Yeah, I mean, you got time on your hands. Like, you're not focusing on the corporate meeting and doing it in your book and look what come of it.
Yeah, and I mean, there's even another character I ended up making. Again, same thing. I was taking notes during a meeting, and I was like writing it on Word, and like the formatting kind of, I had like the formatting still on, so it kind of shows you like whenever you like press your space bar, it gives you like a little dot and all that.
All right.
And seeing that, I ended up like coming up with this guy here. I'm going to show you.
I'm curious. Do your bosses know what you're doing now?
Oh, they know that I draw and all that too. But I mean, I assure them that like this isn't really on company time. Like I spotted this, and I'm like, I saw a face, and I'm like, this is like the plainest face I've ever seen.
All right.
You kind of see like in my little comment here, there's the 2 dots and then the underscore and another dot. Right. So then, yeah, like this guy here, Parker Plain Face.
Cool.
And even then, I just kind of wanted to do something different, like the texture and all that too, and like just using like colored shapes and all that. And yeah,
It's cute.
but no, I think it's good to like for what Dory's saying, that like it's okay to like delete it, but like as soon as you always want to start over, because like there's been so many times in the past where I've like just kind of given up on something, and this is like sort of the one time where I'm like, no, like even when I kind of hit a wall doing the muscle bot comic strips, for some reason I was like just so like, oh, I don't really want to give up on this. I don't really want to like just like keep doing it because I wasn't really feeling as inspired, and like kind of almost had guilt like quitting this project, like doing the muscle bot comic strips.
Right.
But then it's like, to hell with it. Like, so I started doing like, high anxiety. And then from there, like that became real fungi. So I've kind of like sort of given up on that sort of feeling of guilt, like when you feel like something's not really working out, to just give up entirely. Like, you kind of have to let yourself kind of move on and grow and everything too. So,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
And also realize it's not going to come out of the box exactly the way, it fully formed and, fully thought out.
Yeah.
You just like what you were doing. You slap something together and put it up there and take a step back and look at it. And okay, I like some of that.
Mm-hmm.
I see something in there.
Yeah.
And you build on it. You know.
No, exactly. And it's just that sense of like, just, I try not to see it as a failure. I just go like, okay, that was like a phase I had. I'm moving on, and just kind of keep like going at it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like you're doing now, it's like you're posting on a specific day, and
Yeah.
people will eventually figure that out and say, oh, okay, I could look forward to a new one coming up this week, and check it out.
Yeah, like I mean, it's funny, like because I'm the youngest of three boys, and I just found out that like my brothers found out about my comic strip, and they were like, "Oh, we actually look forward to Wednesdays," and I'm like,
Aw.
"Okay, that's nice."
I'm the youngest of four. Hey.
Yeah. Is it a thing about like just the youngest kid ended up working out in comics? I guess I don't know.
Well, it's me and my next brother up. He's the highly successful one. I'm the starving honest, but regardless, we both love what we do, and
Yeah.
we're both in the trenches of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
No, but I mean, I find it like super impressive that like you were able to have like a career in that, like even have a career in this, like having worked with Marvel and DC and all that too, and
yeah, it's like a lot of my friends from that time were like, it's like, oh, you work for Marvel and DC, but you're cool enough to hang out with us. And I was like, well, you're my friends. Like, it doesn't matter where I'm working. It doesn't change anything. It's like they're not paying me $1 million a page. I'm not about to buy my own island and never see you again.
yeah. It would be nice, but I mean, yeah, it's not going to happen.
Dory has some more comments for us. Let's see. As necessary as it was for them to comment the things they did, they were really wrong. I was being lazy about it. Oh, and I turned commenting off. There you go. That's the solution.
Yeah, I think that's sometimes the way to go. So far, I haven't had any huge issues like dealing with like trolls or what have you there, but I'm almost waiting for the day for it to happen to be like, oh, I think I've made it. Like people are arguing in the comments of my comic strip. Like I don't know if that's like a good sign or not, but
right. Mm-hmm. There's a YouTuber. I don't know if you know her. She used to go by Comic Book Girl 19.
Okay.
And she's done some incredibly great stuff. Like she did History of the X-Men. It was, I forget what it was, like 2 videos or 4 videos initially, like the original version. She's done a remix. But if you're into the X-Men and you want the complete history rundown and watch that, you will cry. It's
Hmm.
so good.
Hmm.
Um, but she sort of was doing like movie reviews and a lot of different stuff, comic stuff too. Hence the name. But she started getting like, she's been through some stuff in the years she's been on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Um, and she came up with these two characters, which were trolls, like little, not hand puppets, but essentially
Hmm.
like just like these two things. Like she'll, be talking, and then they would show up. They'll have like their own music and stuff that happens when they show up, and
Hmm.
and she starts talking to them. It's like, what are you doing here again, you trolls? And then they talk to her, and we don't like what you do. We don't like, like it
Hmm.
became a whole skit. Like she just integrated it into what she was doing. It's like hilarious.
That's a really good way. I'll have to check that out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty terrible, like especially when people like just kind of, because I mean it's basically bullying. So I mean, I
Yeah.
always kind of feel bad whenever people kind of let it get to them, and like there's always a way to deal with it. I find.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
regardless of what you do, there'll be things that block your path. Sometimes it's just us, the creators, that, oh, I'm not good enough. I can't write. I can't draw. You
Yeah.
know, I think my stuff is crap. Blah blah blah.
Hmm.
It's like, there'll be enough outside forces telling you what not to do.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be the one telling yourself not to do it.
Yeah. No, that's a really good way to look at it because I would agree. Because I mean, probably like I'm 36 right now, and I'm sure for probably the first 30 years of my life, I was probably like my own worst enemy when it came to this stuff because especially when I was younger and I was trying to draw comic books too. Like I would always just sort of compare myself to, what I was seeing on the page and what was being published and all that. And it's like I kind of wish that I sort of had that aha moment in my head then that I did now. That like what I'm doing now, I'm not trying to be like them. I'm just trying to carve out my own space,
Yeah,
basically. Yeah.
yeah. I'm not trying to erase everything else everybody ever did,
Hmm.
and just make my own.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Hmm.
Um, Doris says, my haiku series is a perfect 10, and that's the win, really. Yeah, she does haikus and poetry and a bunch
Oh,
of
nice.
stuff. It's like Peter is in my head, lol. Yeah, I mean, I wake up certain days and it's like, oh, nothing I'm putting down is coming out good. I suck.
Oh yeah.
You know, um, not every day is going to be a winner. Not, but you just got to get up and do it. It any passion becomes work after a certain point.
Hmm.
Um, but you got to have the will and determination just to push through it, and it will get better again. You'll be on top of the mountain again.
No,
Um,
definitely. Yeah.
one of the best things I read. Um, I don't know if you know Gil Kane. He was a comic book artist,
Okay. Yeah.
and
Uh, for Batman, eh?
well, he
Or
did
did
a
he?
lot of stuff. Green Lantern, I think he's more known for. I
Ah,
mean, I
okay.
think he's done a little bit of everything. He's worked for Marvel and DC.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think Green Lantern is his most popular work. Anyway, I loved his work. I loved his style, and back in the days before the internet, it wasn't always easy to find interviews with creators you liked and so forth.
Hmm.
But I did find something in it, and essentially, Green Lantern, Gil Kane was saying that every morning he woke up, he wasn't sure he could do it again,
Hmm.
and that he would set aside time to where he would just practice. Like, and this is guy like top of his craft, and he's known for his like anatomy and work, and he didn't have the confidence all the time, and he would practice, like, practice what? you need to practice.
Yeah.
You're perfect the way you are. Like, what's the practice on? Um, but it's like I read that and I was like, oh, okay, it's like don't let don't let anything get you down, even your own thoughts. Sometimes, you know, just keep going and yeah, if your hand or your mind or whatever needs a little time to warm up, then so be it. It's like that's how I see it. Like
Hmm.
in the mornings where okay, I'm not fully awake yet, I'm not fully on top of anything at the moment, let me just fill in some blacks first, and then I'll you know ease into some of the simpler things I need to get done. But I'm making progress, like even if I'm not fully here yet.
Yeah, no, I mean that's definitely a way to look at it too, because it's funny too, because I mean it is as much as like don't want to compare it to like a sport or anything like that, but I mean, when I was younger, I used to play basketball and like just try to get me to start playing basketball right off the bat. It's not going to be very good. Like I need some time to just kind of get that warm up, just to be able to, sink my shot and all that too. And it's kind of the same way with like even with drawing and writing and all that too. Like I have so many things where like you just start off and everything feels off. So it's like, I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to work on something else. Just try to get like, in the right frame of mind and all that too. So
Yeah.
I'd have to agree. Yeah.
Have you seen, speaking of basketball, have you seen The Last Dance?
I've actually only started watching it. I'm on like halfway through the second episode.
Oh man, even that bit alone is great, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
it's
know. Yeah. The first episode was like, it's like it kind of, yeah, brought back so many memories. Cause I mean, I was pretty young then, so I wasn't super into basketball, but like my older brothers were, and like middle brother too, like he was huge, like Jordan fan.
mm.
So I just remember like, whenever they won their championships, man, like just how like insane he got. So like, yeah.
But
Well,
I mean, it is the best sports documentary I've ever seen, because
mhm.
it covers a lot of ground, from like the inside out, and him personally and his teammates personally. Um, but man, it's so powerful. It's so powerful. I
It is. I mean,
definitely
yeah.
recommend it to everybody.
No, I know. I definitely have like the kind of the itch to finish watching it because I mean, yeah, just to be able to finish the first episode and like just brought back so many memories, and then like even conversations around the dinner table and all that too. Like whenever the family would finish watching a Bulls game, just what we're talking about, and like because my dad was a basketball coach too, so
Yeah,
like he was huge. Like he loved Phil Jackson. Like couldn't do anything wrong.
right.
Like yeah, and I mean, I think yeah, my brother was the Bulls fan. He was like super pissed off that like there was another kid on the basketball team that got number 23 before he did.
Mm,
Like he showed up like minutes late when it came to like pick out your uniform, and like
right.
so yeah, he wasn't able to get number 23. But yeah,
That's funny.
mm,
Yeah, it's definitely inspirational, and I definitely want to. It's something I'll probably watch maybe once a year. It's like it's definitely that good.
okay,
Yeah.
hmm,
Um,
I have to finish that.
so we're coming up on an hour.
Okay.
Is there anything we haven't covered that you wish to chat about?
Uh, I don't really think so. Like, this was a pretty good chat. I don't know about you, but like,
Yeah.
I mean, this is my first time doing this, so who knows? But yeah, no, this has been really interesting here. Is there anything that
Cool.
you want to cover too?
Um, no, I mean, I think we covered it all. Like, say again where people can find you across the web, and like pitch your comic to to fans out there.
Yeah, it's Real Fungi Comics. It's usually kind of wherever kind of my brain takes me there. I had to go like I don't know. There's no real limit to it there. Like it's if I have like any kind of stupid joke that gets stuck in my head, most likely you'll see it on Instagram or Twitter the next week. So try to stay like really cartoony. I'm trying to like also sort of expand my artistic style as well between doing like digital and hand drawn stuff. But yeah, no, I primarily post on Instagram and Twitter. Instagram is at Real Fungi Comics, and Twitter is at Real Fungi.
Excellent. Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely recommend you all go check it out and support fellow creators. There is something I wanted to do here. Where's my that I haven't done yet? So I started a new thing. Like a lot of people I know have YouTube channels, and I'm growing mine. I've been doing it for years. I haven't always been consistent, but I'm coming up on 1,000, and that means I can become a YouTube partner. I was previously for a while, but they changed the rules on you. As you know, these
Mhm.
things happen.
Yeah.
Um, so I have a Facebook group called Creator Owned Comics Group, and in there I did a post, essentially the 1K subscribers club, and these are the first 3 people that fit the profile, and as they say, and are looking to grow their channel. Um, so actually, I haven't added them to this video's description, but I will do it after the show. Uh, but those are links that you can see. You know, you're pretty much type most of the time type in people's names, but
Mhm.
John there has Ovation Nation Station, so maybe you have to type that in. But I will put the links down below, and they're all looking to grow their channel. John, his channel is very, very new, so he's only got a couple of subscribers. So go and subscribe to all their channels. And don't forget to subscribe to mine if you haven't already.
No,
give this,
definitely. I think I
give
already
this,
have. Yeah.
yeah, give this video a like, so it helps it get it across the YouTubes, so people can learn all about Dennis's work here with Real Fungi Comics. And yeah, I'll be streaming every day this month. I got a couple of guests lined up. You could always check my channel for upcoming streams and see who my guests are. And for the time being, I'm taking Monday and Tuesday and doing solo shows, unless somebody can only get it on then. But thank you so much for coming on.
No, thanks for
This
having
has
me.
been
This
this has
is
been fun. Good
yeah.
conversation. And
Yeah.
I hope definitely you get a lot more fans coming your way.
No, thank you. I mean, thanks for having me. It's a really good chat.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you everybody for watching. If you're watching now live, like Dory, or if you watch this later, like a lot more people, so be it. It's all good. And
Mhm.
share it with your friends. Share it across all your socials. Thanks, everybody. Have a great, great night. Till next time.